A spectacular performance. Curry from half court.
Sometimes, something looks like it's been there a while.
We're here after about a 2-week break. The finals have concluded. The 2024 champions are the Boston Celtics. Let's give a round of applause. Let's give a round. Let's give a round of applause for the Boston Celtics. Truly, I mean, they deserved it. There's no other way to dice it. Deep, good defense, good offense. It's just like beating a dead horse way past death. It's like we've been repeating this for like 4 episodes in a row. Before we continue on, I'm going to say our third fellow co-host is not here. Shout out Wes. Bro has 2 internships. So
2 internships at once.
I mean, we're bums, I guess.
Overachiever.
Maybe we're the problem. we're like pointing fingers at him. Maybe we're the problem. So shout out him. He's doing his thing. We're putting our career first, podcasting career. Yeah. We dropped out of school for this. So shout out him, man. He's doing his thing. So Celtics just deserve it through and through. I think the biggest thing, like I was talking to someone, they were like, but how did they beat the Timberwolves? And obviously he's a little bit of a casual fellow. Good, nice guy. I don't want to trash him as a personal person. He's a little bit of a casual. So I had to kind of very simply break it down. The Timberwolves could not contain Luka. They had Jaden McDaniels on him, and Wesley, who's not here, was absolutely correct. McDaniels was just too small. He 180 pounds. God damn, that's lighter than me. Which is like, wow. Like,
not saying much.
I mean, it is. Like, god damn. How tall is McDaniels? 6'5"? Or he's like 6'5" to 6'8", right?
Yeah.
Something in that range.
Yeah.
What the hell? So obviously, barbecue chicken for Luka. That's easy. And then the problem is they'd have to send the weak double, and then that would open great lob threats in Lively and Gafford. And guess what? Second best playmaker in the league after Jokic. He's diming them up every single time. 10 out of 10 times. It looks like you have to say something, Thomas.
I would also just like to add, Rudy Gobert. You're gonna make me. We're gonna have to pause this and we go. Oh, you're gonna drink out of it. Okay, we'll cut through this. Okay,
we're not gonna cut through. We're gonna this is raw footage.
Okay,
just shows the psyche of man.
Okay,
two men could know each other for a lifetime.
So let's break it down. Actually,
he reaches for his water.
I have water sitting in front of me. It's a bottle of water, right? You know, you drink a bottle of water, like you put it.
Wow!
You put it to your lips.
Wow!
So he reaches over for my bottle of water without saying anything and grabs it and uncorks it, like without saying anything. And then, to be fair, I didn't notice he had a mug that he was getting ready to pour the water into.
Wow! You could know a man a lifetime.
That escaped me. But I was a little bit.
You could know a man a lifetime.
I was like, what? Where is this going?
Wow! You could know a man a lifetime.
I don't know. It's tough.
Wow! This on the day of judgment. We won't even make eye contact. Wow! It's over. So,
anyways,
please continue.
Let's just because we've already gone over this series a fair amount, but as I've said a couple other times, Rudy Gobert was one of the main problems because when you put him in drop coverage, it means that Jaden McDaniels has to go over the screen, gets put on Luka's back, and it essentially becomes a 2-on-1 with Rudy Gobert trying to guard both the threat of Luka attacking the basket and the threat of Luka getting the lob off to Gafford or Lively, as Hassan was saying. But I feel like it's very important to add that Rudy Gobert's limitations as a perimeter defender are what prompted him to play drop coverage so much, and that's a huge part of why those problems revealed themselves. Whereas the Celtics were, of course, as we all know, able to switch with far more regularity than the Timberwolves were, and I think that is, without exaggerating too much, probably one of the main differences in the results of those two series. Obviously, Celtics are still very talented, very deep team. They had the shooting that the Timberwolves didn't. We've been over this, but yeah, I mean, just the series went as we predicted it, as we were talking about before the episode. We did get it right. We called that the series was going to be over in 5 or 6 games. I think I said 6. I was wrong about that, but we all said 5 or 6, and it was 5. So
it was absolutely correct. I think and well deserved. Respect to Joe Mazzulla. Oh my goodness! Like Wes sent a picture of his old like LinkedIn profile, talking about how he aspires to train athletes or something like that. Like just humble beginnings, a devout Christian. Um, I mess with Derek White heavy. Honestly, I mess with KP as well. I've always kind of liked KP. Um, JT though, wow, biggest cornball imaginable. Like I was just watching this like negative aura compilation by like I think House of Highlight, not House of Highlight.
One of those channels, you know, the channels that do the compilations.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a lot of them.
Wow, dude is the he has 4 corny cornball clips in a span of like 2 weeks. The what's he saying? We really did it. We really did it, and he's like trying to be Kevin Garnett. My brother, oh my god, find your own footing. He did that. Then he did the you always going to Miami. It's always easy. What? They beat you last. They literally beat you. Did they face him this season, right? In the first
They-
round? Or no, they did not, right?
No, they did. They just
Oh,
one game, they
okay.
took game 2, and then everything
Oh,
fell
okay,
apart.
okay.
Jimmy Butler got injured, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's not leave
It's
that out.
always easy.
Yeah, literally, who knows how that series goes if he stays healthy? I really wouldn't count him out.
Third
But-
cornball moment. They said if you didn't win, I guess we'll never know. Bro, what are you doing?
Dude, and then as we were, us Warriors fans, we take special offense to this. He did this Steph. What are they gonna say now? Okay, first off, let's make a couple things clear. Comparing Jason comparing himself to Stephen Curry, which is what he's doing subtly by saying that, disrespectful as hell. Number 2, this guy is practicing this shit in the mirror, and it is
Dude, absolutely.
sad. You need to get get your own lines. Let it come to you in the moment. Like, come on, everybody can tell you.
Exactly.
Like, we know, dude, you can't fake it. We know you're
Absolutely.
practicing this. We've had
Absolutely.
like famous NBA moments. We're like, I gotta add this one. When I win, you're not gonna see this coming.
Him and Deuce, that poor kid is being used as like as a practicing tool. He's sitting him in front of him and going, "We really did it. We really did it." And well, I mean, oh my god, it's so bad. It's actually so bad. It's like you have to find your own footing. Like, look, dude, you're tall, you're attractive, you're good looking. You know, the analogy I gave was like that jock in high school who people are like, wow, he's like seems mysterious and really cool. The new kid to school.
I noticed you used 2 words for attractive.
What did I say?
You said attractive and good looking. You just had to really emphasize that part.
Like, yeah, he's a good looking guy.
I mean-
What can I say? I mean, I'm as a
Remember, guys, 3 Points Podcast, we do not discriminate.
I'm complimenting.
I
A
see. No, it's
brother.
fair. No, there's nothing too deep about it. I was just noticing,
I
a
mean,
pattern.
yeah, absolutely, he's a good looking guy. There's no shame in saying that. You could be secure in your sexuality and secure and be in touch with your feminine side a little bit. I mean,
I didn't say anything about that. I didn't say anything.
anyways,
say
anyways, like I would say he's like a 9-1 out of 10. So, anyways, he's like that mysterious new kid to school, tall, good looking, etc. And then when he starts talking, you think, wow, this guy's a cornball. He has no personality.
He really doesn't. Yeah.
He is like, I really thought like maybe people are being too hard on him. I genuinely thought like when the Kobe thing happened, like the Kobe text, yo, this is for you, man, or whatever. And
I
it was like,
got you today.
I got you today. I thought, honestly, I would do that to Steph if I was in the same shoes.
It was the funniest thing ever because after the game when everybody was photoshopping like Will Barton, I got you today.
Dude, it's so bad.
So funny, dude.
Dude, and I really thought like, okay, maybe if I'm in the league, I would do that to Steph too if he passed away tragically. I would do the same. But then it just stacks up. Like time after time, bro. What are you doing? Like, wow, the anything is possible. Oh no, not the anything. The we really did it is oh my god. And the way he jerks his head back too and like
I'm telling you, because he's been like rehearsing it. He had the manner, like the motion down and everything.
yeah, it's not natural. Like it's
It
very
was- yeah, it
obvious.
was
It's very
weird.
obvious. And like, dude, you're a champion. Of course, it's a good segue to the Finals MVP, Jaylen Brown, who absolutely deserved it.
Absolutely.
He's definitely like the one. He is number one on their team. It's people put them in like the same category. They're really not. I would say it's a solid number one, Jaylen Brown. I think Tatum, again, he's a great player, great defender, good rebounder. But I think Jaylen Brown clears. If you want to add, disagree.
Oh no, I mean, I absolutely agree. I think thing about Jason Tatum is that it's weird. Look, here's the thing. I think for the next 5 years going forward, I think this core is going to stick together. Or at least the combo of Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum are going to stick together. And I would, if you told me that for every single one of those 5 years, Jason Tatum is going to lead the team in scoring in the regular season, I would believe you because he has for the last 5 years. He's always been the regular season scoring leader. And then the second you get to the playoffs, it seems as though whether it's some combination of mentality, of a limited skill set that gets exposed by playoff defenses, of some combination of those things, he simply cannot sustain his regular season production in the playoffs. And he looks unaggressive. He looks passive. He looks like he's waiting for other people to create. He looks like he's waiting for other people to do his job for him. And that's something that I'd never really felt from Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown last year, he had an absolutely disastrous performance in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, or Eastern Conference Finals, I apologize. And people were clowning him for it. But you know what I saw from him in that game? He was so aggressive. When Tatum's hurt and he's not doing anything, and I give Tatum a pass for that game because he was hurt. But what did you see from Jaylen Brown? He's trying to create in the pick and roll. He's running the pick and roll every possession, spamming it over and over, trying to create something. And yes, he was missing a lot. He had an off shooting night. It was the wrong night for him to have an off shooting night, that's for sure. He did look he got exposed a couple times. The can't go left thing was at its absolute peak because there were a couple times where he was trying to go left and he just lost his dribble or got completely shut down. But he showed an aggressiveness in that game that I have never seen from Tatum, except with one exception of that one random 50-point playoff closeout game where he was absolutely unconscious from three. And I think that is the thing with Jason Tatum. The way that he plays basketball in the playoffs, he needs to be absolutely unconscious shooting from the field to have a really impactful game because he simply has not shown an ability to get to the rim at the level that you would expect from a guy with his physical toolkit and his finishing ability. He settles for jumpers, both from the mid-range and from the three-point line. He does not attack aggressively downhill, and he passes up possessions where it feels like he could have created something for himself. And for all of those reasons, I would agree. I would say Jaylen Brown is going forward the number one, no matter what stats Jason Tatum puts up in the regular season. And if Tatum wants to prove me wrong, wants to prove us wrong, wants to prove the world wrong,
absolutely,
he should go ahead and do it next play.
I mean, the world
because they're going to be back.
The world seems to believe it's a 1A, 1B thing.
The world, I think, you're seeing it on NBA Twitter, you're seeing it on, ESPN or whatever. People are starting to talk about it more, about how Tatum has struggled in the playoffs and about how it looks like Jaylen Brown's the number one. Obviously, the Finals MVP and the Eastern Conference Finals MVP really, really got that discussion going, as it should have. Jaylen Brown deserved both of them. It's just an objective fact. And if Jason Tatum, I bet somewhere deep down, I know he said, shout out Jaylen Brown, whatever. I bet somewhere deep down he's pissed.
100%.
Because he's been called the number one forever, and now all of a sudden, oh my God, Jaylen Brown gets both MVPs. Come on. But if you want to do something about it, do something about it next year, because they will be back. I mean, that team is as talented as you can get, and they're going to be back in the conference finals probably. They might even be back in the finals. So Jason Tatum, he's going to get his chance. And I think for him to take a step up, he's going to have to prove that he has the willingness and ability to attack the rim more aggressively in playoff situations. I don't know why he doesn't. I'm sure you could do a whole film breakdown on it, whether it's about mentality, whether it's about scheme, et cetera, in the playoffs, but he's going to have to show it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think to just kind of add one a noticeable thing, when Brown won the Finals MVP, for a brief moment you can see on Tatum's face.
I remember that.
Brief moment, because obviously, dude, it's tough. Obviously, when the raw emotion hits, you could imagine it's a little he was probably really, really, really badly wanted that Finals MVP. Obviously, he just didn't deserve it. And shout out Jaylen Brown. He shouted him out, even though he didn't have to. You're just you deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, shout out the Celtics. They've been having fun on their parades. Honestly, shout out Derek White. Shout out KP. Shout out Joe Mazzulla. Shout out Jrue Holiday.
Shout out Jrue Holiday, dude. Look, Jrue Holiday is one of those guys who everybody loves to talk about how underrated he is. Which makes it.
Went on a rant.
Yeah, we went on a rant. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, you already went on this rant. But look, everybody knows what Jrue Holiday's deal is. Everybody knows he's a winning player. Everybody knows he's a quality player.
He's a winning player. What a good way to put
But
it.
just to reemphasize again, this is the guy.
Anthony on the
This is a guy who was brought in to Milwaukee. They said, we want to go out and get you because we think what you can provide will give us a championship. And what did it do? It got them a championship. And they go, and then what happens? The Celtics, they're concerned. They think we don't have enough perimeter defense. We want to go out and get you so you can bring us a championship. And he brings them a championship. the track record at this point, I think, is immaculate for Drew Holiday.
He is amazing.
It is clear that he is a winning player in the best possible way, in the most
Absolutely.
severe way. Like he,
Come to the Warriors.
oh my god, dude. Yeah,
Please.
I cannot think there are very few guys in the NBA who are less likely to get traded right now than Drew Holiday, considering
Absolutely.
he just,
His market is
considering
so
what
high
he,
right now.
what he just brought to them.
Dude, absolutely.
I mean, they have zero. I mean, I can't think of a team who has less considered traded player than the Celtics have to trade Drew Holiday, but it would be nice.
I think the best
in
way
in
like,
fantasy land,
he
it'll be
phrased
nice.
it himself best like I'm a utility player.
He is.
And he's like one of those utility, like the AC in the car. Like, god damn, when you need the AC in the heat, it's so clutch. And that's what he really is. Unbelievable. Phenomenal. So shout out him, shout out KP, Derek White, Joe Mazzulla. Are we missing anyone else? Honestly, Jaylen Brown, shout him out.
I love Jaylen Brown, dude. I mean, come on.
Not Jason Tatum. We're not shouting Jason
Look,
Tatum.
I'll say
We're
this.
not shouting him
I'll
out.
say this. I know you.
Sorry, Tatum.
Look, I'll say this. I know. Remember when he said, "I don't win shit," and you were kind of like, "Well, you got the
So,
contract."
You won in life.
I'll say this. Look, I'll say this. This is a guy he's had to deal with being the B. Everybody says he's the B. When shit hit the fan, when they're in the biggest situation, the first time, what happened? Neither of them really showed up. Tatum definitely didn't show up. He got a little bit of slack. Jaylen Brown got a lot of the slack too, though. The second time, Jason Tatum still didn't fully show up in the way that a lot of people expected him. Jaylen Brown, this guy put up an incredibly efficient performance. The first 3 games when they went up 3-0, he was the best player in every single one of those games on both ends of the floor. And those are the games, because I've seen people say, if you look at the stats at the end of the series, Tatum actually averaged more points. Doesn't matter, man. He averaged more points on better efficiency for those first 3 games, which are the ones that matter. Once you go up 3-0, it's already over. Tatum can put up 70 points in game 4 or whatever when they lose it. It just doesn't move me. And also from a more analytical standpoint, it's yet more evidence that what Jaylen Brown does, the way that he plays basketball, where he is aggressive in the pick and roll, coming off the screens, attacking downhill, that's matters. That's how you play winning basketball. Tatum needs to take some notes, man. You have the same skill set. You can do that. It seems like he chooses not to. I don't understand it, but anyways.
Absolutely. So finally, just to recap, we're shouting out Jaylen Brown, Kristaps, Derek White, Holiday, and Joe Mazzulla, and Al Horford. Sorry, I gotta put Al Horford there. Respect. Like, how many? He has like the 3rd most playoff games played without winning a chip or something like that. I think like number 1 is Karl Malone.
Number 1 and 2, Karl Malone and John Stockton. It should stay that way until the end of time.
Dude,
Because it just feels right, you know?
Feels right. Like it's just an eternal curse for
exactly
his deeds.
Exactly.
We're not gonna go too much into details. So anyway, so I'm gonna recap that. Honestly, shout out them. Yeah, I mean nothing more to say. We literally have beaten the living crap out of this. It's just it was a very boring final. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
However, I will note out, as Adam Silver noted in a personal email to me. He sent me a personal email.
And he told me a personal email.
Oh shit. Well, I guess he sent us both personal
I
emails.
see. Okay, we're both very important
Podcast hosts. So
yeah.
I think he sends like the podcast, influential podcasts and such.
The real ball nerds, basically.
Real ball knowers. He let us know that this is the, I think, 5th team to win in 5 years or 6th team to win.
It's the age of parity in the NBA.
Age of parity. I like that. That should be a song title. Okay, anyway, so that's just a dope. That's like age of parity. I like
but
that.
it is the age of parity. I mean, okay, let me, because we're, to be fair, just a little behind the scenes. This is not the most to talk about this episode. So let me just give a little monologue on this.
I mean, we don't have to waste time.
Okay, fair. I'm just like
we've been getting constructive criticism from our fans.
I see.
They say
maybe
sure.
I know you're right.
So
Who
we're
needs to
gonna
hear my thoughts? Who
Yeah.
needs to hear my thoughts?
I'm gonna pause right there because we got some Warrior talk.
Fair. Okay.
After
fair.
so many months of not talking about the Warriors, they're back.
Whose fault is that?
Look, 0 for 10.
Oh my god.
0 for 10. What does Steve Kerr say? We're really hoping to bring back
It's
CP3.
Klay Thompson.
No, CP3. We're hoping to bring him back. Remember, we're really hoping.
Oh my god.
We're
This
hoping.
gives me PTSD. Do you think? Because it's the press conference after you lost. Why the
We're
night that you
really
lost? You're
hoping.
thinking about that?
We're really hoping.
What? Why is that even on your mind? CP3 shouldn't even been in his fucking head. He's so. Oh my god.
No, we're really hoping. It was like came from the heart. Steve Kerr's like become Joe Biden. Like I mean, like
Dude, I
real
think-
Joe Biden vibes, bro.
The problem is, I think CP3 is that kind of guy where he's like personable,
He doesn't
Like,
seem. He kind of seems
I don't
annoying.
interest. I don't. People always talk about like, man, I love being a teammate of CP3. He has so much knowledge and stuff. It's like he never seems determined or winning.
I mean, literally,
I don't know.
a lot of knowledge.
Anyways,
I mean, theory only takes you so far. God damn it,
dude, like I will say this about CP3. Make him a coach. He can retire. I mean, we all know he's
Dude,
retirement material at this
facts.
point.
Put him in the
Yeah,
goddamn.
get him on the sidelines, dude.
Okay, wait. Who gets rings? Up to what level do you get ring? Like a ring?
Coaches get a ring.
All coaches.
Yeah, all coaches.
So you have like 7 assistant coaches.
Absolutely.
Okay. Put him on the assistant coach.
Literally,
He'll get a ring.
dude. Literally. Could you? Yeah, because that's all he does at this point is like give younger players his knowledge or whatever. Like, I mean,
Like god damn, but we really hope. We really hope we get re-signed. Dude, shout out Steve
see,
Kerr.
he sounded distressed. Like, if you don't resign him, like it's gonna be a
We're gonna
problem.
lose. Like we have no chance next season. It's like he's like begging dumb Mike. Like, yo, please. So anyway, so we got a lot of talking to do. I mean, not a lot. Again, it's like really early in the offseason. I think the biggest thing, as noted by like one of our loyal fans, we're gonna give a shout out to one of our fans. It's kind of like be like a mailbag, not mailbag question, but mailbag comment. By I'm gonna mispronounce his name, Daniel ABD
Yeah, he is good with
4659.
weird foreign names. Tough to pronounce.
DANIALABIDI 4659. Fire profile picture. Seems like a really good looking, sexy guy. He asked, what's so funny?
I mean, dude, with no context, they're just gonna hear you say that.
I mean, again, like I said, no shame in being secure in your sexuality and in touch with your feminine side. No
This is
videos.
public, by the way.
No, like I said, no fear in being secure. No videos this week. Waiting on the 3 Points podcast for their views on the final postseason analysis, and lots of Warriors news that's happened this last 10 days with a side emoji.
You know what? He's right.
And he's right.
Yeah.
And there was a sarcastic comment from, I guess, like a bot
hater.
account. Don't worry, we're just taking all the time we need to let everything soak in with a kind of like a smiley face. Like, look, dude, we don't appreciate that disrespect to a loyal fan like Daniel Abidi. It's not all right. So, whoever that was, Weasley Hastings 4102, cut it out. Cut it out.
Some people have nothing better to do than just
I have nothing better to do. Absolutely.
leave worthless comments like that.
Absolutely. And then we responded back to Daniel, Daniel, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I apologize to our loyal fans. And we let him know, please, we appreciate your patience. We were cooking stuff up. We've been really busy. A lot of family, a lot of familial commitments, 2 internships.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm leaving for a wedding tomorrow morning, and I've been really, I guess this could be a little bit of a personal life.
Back to the Warriors.
Back to the briefly. I've been honing in on my sleeping schedule. So it's an ongoing discussion. You could leave it in the comment section down below. All thanks be to God, I fixed my sleeping schedule. I used to be sleeping at like 4 to 6 a.m. Sleeping then, not waking up. And then recently I've switched it to sleeping at 9:30, 10 p.m. and getting up at 5. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise, as Benjamin Franklin said. But one of our co-hosts, the dude sitting next to me, has a big problem with that. He thinks that it's weird and it's unusual and it's abnormal, that I'm the weird one.
Well, let's just get a couple things out of the way. Number one, it's an objective fact that it is unusual. Now, abnormal or weird, I mean, those have more negative connotations. But unusual is just a factual term. It is unusual that you sleep that late. Most people don't. Now, I should say this: there's nothing objectively wrong about it. However,
I mean, you seem to bully me about it often.
However, there's a genuine question to be asked: how much do you really gain from it, as opposed to, for example, staying up just a few hours later so you could spend more time?
The most optimal
with a
time to
good friend
sleep.
of yours.
The most optimal time.
And wake up just a couple hours later.
The
I don't
most
think it's that big
optimal
of a
time
deal.
to sleep is 10 to 5 a.m. without dwelling too much more. Anyway, so a lot of busy stuff. So Daniel BD, we hope you understand. We responded, and he left us a very heartfelt comment saying we love your podcast, big fan, and he understands that clowns on the internet exist, so he won't let them phase his enthusiasm for the podcast. Thank you so much.
Dude, I'm so glad. Look at this community, man. This coming
Thank
together.
you so much, Daniel Abidi.
Wow.
Like, honestly, you seem like a really good guy, and we wish you the best in life. Leave questions and comments down below. Just like that. We love interacting with our fans. We had some other comments as well, but
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
gonna really go over them.
Interesting. I see a lot of trashing of one specific post.
Trashing, love it. Big fan of Thomas
That
and Wesley's
one guy
takes.
who talks too much. Who could that be?
Thomas and Wesley usually overtaken by that one guy who talks too much.
God, that only seems to leave one person. Wow. Look, guys.
It
You
must have
know,
been a guest appearance on one of
guys,
the
look,
episodes.
I'm just saying. I want to speak up for my friend here. Look, I mean, he can talk a lot, but this guy, he knows his stuff.
I appreciate
Let's
that.
not be too harsh. I think
Thank
his
you.
contributions are pretty good.
I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate. Look at the community we've developed. Daniel Obidi, if you'd like to be a guest on the episode, please let us know.
Absolutely.
We'll bring you on. So, anyways, so this is why we took some time. So we appreciate that. So the biggest news that happened basically like while the finals were going on, Klay Thompson unfollowed the Golden State Warriors. Now look, this is like really cringy and like also like Stephen A talk. Like, what does that mean? He wants out, and he's like screaming and shouting, and it's like, okay, dude, okay, sorry. You're talking about the NBA draft real quick.
Good Stephen A. Okay, yeah, no, let's talk about this.
This
real quick.
guy
First
got
off-
drafted
First,
like the 11th pick, and he said, I don't know who this guy is, but I like him, bro. My brother. Oh my
dude,
god.
what are they paying you for? No, sure, he makes like $20 million a year. What do you mean you've never seen him before? You can't use YouTube.
I ain't never heard of this man before, but I like him.
It's a pretty good Stephen A. I gotta
I
admit.
guess it's also 12:30. We're gonna hear this in recording and be so mad. But god damn,
Dude.
Bob Myers sitting next to him.
I feel so bad for Bob Myers. I mean, the whole draft, Stephen A's contribution is basically like, man, I've never looked at this guy, but it seems like he fits what they need. And then Bob Myers is just like because here's the thing, because Bob Myers clearly like genuinely does not like being on stage with Stephen A. Smith. Like you can tell, like he'll like just watch him and wait for him to finish and completely ignore what he says and just go off on his own thing. And I don't blame him at all because Stephen A. Smith, like, I mean, look, whatever.
He's a clown.
We spent the whole of last episode talking about, or not the whole, but like we spent a lot of Stephen Port's last
Oh
episode
yeah, that's
talking about how
true.
stupid we found Amy Media. The guy's a clown. His voice annoys me. Like his manner of speaking annoys me. All this, like he's a clown. Yada yada yada. I feel bad for Rob Myers having to share the stage with him. He contributed nothing to the draft. We'll be talking about the draft in more detail.
Yeah,
in
we'll have
another
a
episode, so
sooner episode.
this was just a little
So,
tangent, but Stephen
loyal
Smith,
fans,
still a moron.
yeah,
not a shocker.
I ain't ever heard of him before.
Yeah.
So that was so funny. We were dying of laughter when that happened. That was so good. Can't believe we witnessed that live, bro. Why would you admit that? I don't understand. Oh my goodness, dude. Imagine like, okay, anyways. So, like unfollowed. So we don't want to do the whole NBA media stuff, but it's a pretty big deal in the regard that you just had an 0 for 10 shooting night before the last game you played. People know you have to resign, you have a contract, you're a free agent, etc., etc. Why are you unfollowing them? It's weird. It's weird. For me, it confuses me. It confuses me more because what happened to all that brotherhood? Oh, I'm gonna ride it with these guys. I love these guys. This city is mine. I love my life for the Bay, blah blah blah. What's up with all that? Like, I'm confused. Like, and then Dre on his podcast just kind of laughing about it. And I get it. Like, you have to be a little bit political. He can't be like sort of like hit him in the nuts like he hits everyone else in the league. I like how his tone shift is different for obviously Steph and Dre, but for everyone else in the league, he's like a goddamn. He's like all over that. So it's weird. He also didn't unfollow like the Santa Cruz.
He
Look,
did or he didn't?
He
I
did
didn't see-
not.
Oh yeah, look at that.
But it's like
He's
weird.
still a Warriors guy at heart. You'd love to see it. All right, let me say this. Look,
Yeah.
Look, with Klay Thompson, I had a little monologue about this. This is maybe a couple months ago. Klay Thompson is a weird guy. We all know this about him. He's the kind of guy who would do something like that just because he found it funny. Now, does that mean that that's all it is?
I don't think that's the
Let me
case.
say
I'm
this,
gonna be
okay,
honest.
but
Okay,
again,
finish your thing, and I'm gonna.
We're talking
I
about all this like
completely disagree. With
all
you.
this like where did all the loyalty, like this is my city stuff talk go? Like
Yeah.
we know that talk always goes out the window when there's money on the table. It's a pretty universal rule in the NBA. How many stars have said this is my city? Like I love this,
Nah,
like,
but I disagree.
love this team. Like,
No, it's different.
I'm sorry, man. It always goes
This
out the
is
window.
different.
But that's what I'm saying. It always goes out the window. So that's what I
It's not like
understand.
a Paul George
To
thing,
me,
bro.
To me,
You have to look at the track record. Okay, what players are you talking about? Kyrie. He has not stayed loyal with the team. He's like, I mean, the Cavs meme is really good when the kid's like,
I mean,
I'm here for life.
LeBron said all that stuff too before he left.
Okay, and clearly when he left, it's about a track record. Okay, Paul George said that I want to retire with the Thunder. And clearly, if you left the Pacers, which was like your drafted team, you clearly, Kyrie, LeBron, etc. You know what I mean? My point is the track record of these three guys. They're the greatest trio of all time. I'm just kind of saying that at 12:40 in the morning. I haven't
They're
fact
not,
checked it.
unfortunately.
Oh shoot, who we? Jordan's, Pippen, Rodman.
No, I would probably go Magic, Kareem, James Worthy, but they won more, I think, together.
Ooh, really? Did they?
I think they won 5.
Kareem has 5 rings.
Yeah, what? Yeah. Was the last?
Magic has 5 rings.
Yeah, Magic has 5 rings. No, Magic has 5 rings. I think Kareem was around, and I'm pretty sure James Worthy around for all. You can check.
You're
James
definitely
Worthy-
right.
James Worthy is the one I'm a little bit scared. I don't know when exactly he was drafted. You can look that up.
James Worthy, Kareem, and Magic, a number of rings.
Just look up how I know that Kareem and Magic 105. Look up 6.
Kareem
'cause
has 6.
He won one with the Bucks too, yeah.
So he won in 82, 85, 87,
That's
88.
so see the 80, 82, 85, 87, 88. That's the
80?
5 Lakers ones. Look up when James Worthy was drafted.
Draft date 82.
Never mind then. Okay, maybe I could see. I think, and even this is me trying to be on Voice as a Warriors fan. I think they have an argument, but this is
I
probably
have an
debate-
argument.
This is also I know there's one I'm free. Oh yeah. Also, okay, wait. You're gonna laugh at me.
Wait. Oh,
It's the Celtics.
LeBron,
No, the
LeBron, Dwayne, and Chris Bosh. I mean,
they
that's
only
gotta be
won
up there.
2.
But I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's part of what makes the Warriors trio so special.
4
They stuck
straight final
together.
appearances.
They stuck together though for.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess how do you justify?
But
Okay,
the one I was saying you're gonna laugh at me for is the Celtics with like Hindstone, Sam Jones, and Bill Russell, who won like 10 together.
Jesus. I mean,
Who
yeah.
won like 10 together.
That's
I mean, I
valid,
know. Look, guys, I know. I try to give respect to the older.
Yeah. What about like the
some fans our age?
What about like like at the local school park? What about
I know some
Coach
fans our
Shea?
age are really
Like,
disrespectful.
wow,
to some
those
reason.
guys are hoopers.
Some fans our age they
You
hate
put
the
them
history.
in
They hate the history of the game.
1923.
They
They'd
hate
win
the history of
20
the game.
rings too.
They hate the people who built the stones that we stand
I
on.
don't hate them.
But,
I just don't want to disrespect legends like Magic Johnson, Kareem
But, you know.
Abdul-Jabbar, and James Worthy, who if they won 4 in a row, due to inflation, that's like 20. That's like 30 rings. That's a Stephen A moment. Okay. Anyway, so we devolved a little bit. We were talking about Clay. We were talking about look, it's just weird. It's just weird that this is like 10 plus years. And it's not like they had a fall off. No one has trashed him for playing subpar in 2 playoff postseason runs.
What?
Like,
No one is.
I'm talking about in the organization, dog.
Okay.
Not the fans,
Oh,
bro.
whoa, the fans, because the fans have
The
had a lot
fans
to
have
say.
eaten him alive.
Fans have had a
It's
lot to
just the
say.
goddamn organization.
Hey, but of course they're not going to. That's not.
Are you kidding me?
What name of an organization?
Embiid. When Simmons passed it up, he said, I'm not gonna do an impersonation because this goes online. This is gonna be don't want to be disrespectful whatsoever. He said when a certain player passed the ball when he had an open layup. This is in a post
Now that is
conference.
that
You
is a very
remember
good
that, right?
example. That is a very good example.
Off the dome, by the way.
Very
God
good
damn,
example.
I'm too good.
And
So
I will say at that time, I
Steph-
remember a lot of people didn't thought that was a funny thing for him to say, although somehow just because it's Ben Simmons, like all of a sudden it doesn't count. Some people who are
no, it's a horrible. It's horrible team.
interesting.
spirit.
I don't remember that same opinion coming.
I
From
mean, I
you
have that.
happened.
I'm not gonna say it because I don't like.
Okay. Okay.
I hate Simmons.
Okay. I see. Okay.
So it's a personal bias, but it doesn't change the truth that it was a bad thing. It's like Ronaldo before he got to like hop out of
You're
his
an awful teammate.
Man U contract. He went out and said, "I don't respect Eric Ten Hag," like his head
Yeah,
coach.
I mean, such a low class.
That's very low class. So it's like imagine if I'm Steph and I'm Dre, bro, 0 for 10. I'm going out there. I mean, I'm not gonna do that, but like they have the right. So then you give me a reason to be like, all right, that's why you unfollow. JP. Why did he unfollow the Warriors and Draymond immediately?
Because he's a bitch.
You got children viewers probably. He's a
Because he's a.
he had
baby.
beef. He had
He's a
beef.
baby. Yeah.
He had beef. There's understanding to why he did it. Clay, I just don't get it. So we're not gonna do more Stephen A. But all right.
Okay, but let me. Okay, wait. but
How
let me-
much stock are you buying in to
but let
him
me-
re-signing with the
But let me let me get my honest analysis of the situation. When I was saying earlier, like, okay, all that talk goes out the window when money's on the table. What I meant is that He is probably doing what most players do when they reach free agency. They look for the offer that gives them the most money. In 2018, when he was in free agency, it didn't matter because the Warriors were going to offer him the maximum amount of money on the table because he was a max player at that point.
It's
Now
disappointing.
it's
It's
different.
disappointing. Bro,
Now-
you've made enough money in your career. Bro,
It's-
you
Okay,
were
say
eating
this
off
all you
millions
want.
of dollars with not even playing for 2 years.
Say this all you
You
want.
had free salary for 2 years.
The amount of players who take that route is so slim. You have to like think, okay, who are the exceptions?
It should be Clay. You should do that. That's the least you can do to the Warriors, dude.
For what?
I mean,
For
again,
paying
it's a
him the amount of
mutual-
money he was
it's
deserved as a max level
it's
player?
a mutual relationship.
Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, because I mean, that can be your opinion, but I think the reality of the situation is that Clay is just looking for the offer that's going to give him the most money.
Unfollowing the Warriors before you sign for a new team. First of all, you can
I
still
just
follow the
don't
Warriors.
think it matters that much, man. It's Instagram. Come on.
It in this day and age, social media.
Yeah.
He knows he's an athlete. He knows people are
he's aware.
hyper focused on him.
Hey, Draymond seemed to think it was funny.
I think Draymond's doing a political
So then-
thing.
so let me go-
Okay, how much stock are you buying? So we're going back to the good classic tale. So you're in debt because you lost all your money on going all in on Ben Simmons.
When Ben Simmons booms next year, Ben Simmons #1 option by the
Bro
next
put
year.
his money in the biggest meme coin on crypto.
Get ready for Ben Simmons as the #1 option the next year. It's gonna be incredible.
So let's say I'll loan you $100.
So again,
How much stock are we buying in KT
I
coming
was
back?
trying to give a roundabout answer to that question, but you interrupted me.
I apologize.
So now let's get to the reality of the situation. Klay Thompson is coming off of his worst season as a pro since probably his second year in the league. He's coming off of a disastrous performance in the play-in game, which is the last game that he's played in an NBA uniform. And he is a 33 or 34-year-old player who everybody knows is on the wrong side of the aging curve and is not likely to get much better, and in fact is very likely to only get worse. Who knows how much worse it'll be, but he's very likely to only get worse
Exponential.
as the years go on. He does not deserve 1/2 of the contract that he was on for the last couple of years.
He deserves a 10th.
He, at the beginning of the season, before he had his decline this season and his terrible play-in game performance, he was expecting, I think, 20 million, which is still less than the contract that he was on. He definitely, without a doubt, played himself out of that contract. So now the question is, are there teams in the league that value Klay Thompson more than the Warriors value Klay Thompson? To me, the answer is not likely because let's face it, as Dunleavy himself said, there's a sentimental value to this organization and keeping around Klay Thompson. And even if he hadn't said it, we all know it's true because after all, let's face it, Steve Kerr is on the news talking about we really want him back. Like, please, Klay, come back, come back, come back. Steph and Dre, they're on YouTube or whatever, on podcast. Please, Klay, come back, come back, come back. Klay Thompson, I think, is going to go out. He's going to talk to other teams. He's going to feel out the market. He's going to realize, goddamn, teams do not want to pay me anything. And he's going to come back to the Warriors because we are willing to pay him more than other teams. That is my personal opinion. And if you're saying how much stock am I putting in that happening?
So, okay, you have $100. How much stock are you putting in him coming back?
I would say, so what, like, is this like going to roll over to our predictions for next year? I can't use this stock if I put
No, like I'm loaning you.
You're
You're
loaning-
already eternally in debt.
Yeah,
sir.
okay, so yeah, just
You
what's
said
with
I'm
that,
taking
right?
out a loan.
I would say
You said I'm taking out another extra $100 loan to put into Ben Simmons. So you
so I would say $70. I think it's about a 70% chance that it's
Oh,
gonna happen.
exactly. So I would say I'm putting about $63 in him
Okay.
coming back.
Okay.
So I think it's a 63% chance he's coming back. I do think he's testing the market. I don't think it's because I just don't think he would do something that drastic to leave. Although, I mean, Vegas has the Magic most likely to land him, and this clown, what's his name, Yaron Weitzman, predicts that Thompson will ink a 3-year, $100 million contract to remain with the
If Klay
Warriors.
Thompson gets $33 million a year from the Warriors organization,
I'm not
there
watching.
needs to be a federal investigation
And
into what kind of corruption.
if two things happen, what corruption is happening? If we give him that contract and CP3 comes back as a player, not a coaching staff, I'm not watching this season. That's a spit on our fans' faces. Anyway, so that's that. That's the biggest thing. Unfortunately, no Wiggins trade rumors have been
Oh my god.
God, just get him off.
Now
Get
let
him off the
me say a few things
goddamn
about
team.
that. Number one, it's still early in the offseason. Things could happen. Number two, I would not be shocked if Dunleavy's already been looking around and teams are saying we don't want his ass.
Cut him.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is at this point. He's played himself out of being a very valuable player. it's unfortunate we gave him the money right before that happened, but
Gave Jordan Poole that money.
it's
Gave Wiggins
that's
that
the
money.
way things went.
Oh
So
my goodness, we literally wasted $200 million.
yep.
Like
Down
like
the
waste.
drain.
Like waste is not like Clay's like 2 years where he had an injury. All right, Chale, at least we won the 2022 chip. Sorry, I just didn't Urdu word. We won a 2022 chip. All worth it. Wiggins and JP, we gave that contract after we won the chip. Oh, we could have done so much more. We wasted a second-round pick. We wasted a second overall pick on James Wiseman.
Probably one of the. I mean, look. Here's the thing. You can do hindsight with that move. Everybody at the time said it made
Agreed.
sense.
I agree.
But I cannot. I will
Pass
not
out
lie.
on. We passed out on LaMelo.
We passed up on LaMelo. I will not lie. We also. Well, again, we there wasn't there. I don't think there was really ever a chance we would get Ant because he did go one overall. But there
Yeah, he
were
did.
talks about Wiseman going one overall. So again, I think that was a big kind of turning point for the Warriors franchise, that draft. That would have been a huge taking LaMelo instead of Wiseman. As much as some people clown on LaMelo, and as much as he's
I mean, his value is still so much higher.
yes, he
We could have
clearly
traded him
would
worst
have- He
case.
clearly would have either become trade bait for a much better veteran player, or be simply developed into a what Poole was for one season, but ended up not being,
Absolutely.
which is a great third option for. Well, I guess he would at this point he would be the second option because Clay has fallen off, but for that championship season, a great third option behind Steph.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, let's segue on to the
Yes.
other thing, which is way before. Let's touch on this. Paul George, just like really quickly.
Okay, sure.
What do we think about how realistic it is? What do we think about it going forward? Do we like it?
I think it's. I mean, do we like it? Hell yeah, we do.
Okay.
Obviously, he's a Paul George is the type of player he can fit with any team.
I will say I've seen some people be like, "No, we can't. You can't pay that much money to an old guy." And I'm like, "Bro, that's all we have is old guys. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean,
We're already
like,
getting Steph $200 million.
Yeah, I think that I think the problem. Like, look, dude. Clearly, I mean, it's so tricky. I think we should go for him. I mean, it's great. Like, let's go for him. He's the type of player, kind of like Drew Holiday, as we were touching over. He can play with any team.
Absolutely.
He's a utility player. He has a nice three. He has a nice mid range. He has a nice attacking to the basket. He has a great handle.
And
He's
he
a
plays
good
off ball.
defender. He plays off ball. He's played with a lot of annoying players. So he's like,
he can psychologically handle Draymond. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, exactly. Like he had to deal with freaking the disaster of the Clippers. Pat Bev, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. Russell Westbrook twice.
Oh my god.
I know, and the Carmelo Anthony AP. Paul should have punched him right there. But he didn't. That shows how great of a guy he is. So, do I love it? Of course I do. I mean, I'd be stupid to be like, what? I would love for him to come to the Warriors. I think that gives us confirmed champion. Lock it in. I don't think it's that, but it really definitely takes us above a play-in team.
Yeah.
God damn it. Maybe a Western Conference team.
Yeah, and then the other thing that's important to note is a Paul George contract would mean without a doubt that Klay Thompson is not going to be a Golden State Warrior going forward.
Yeah, low key, I'd take that though. We take that.
I'm taking
With
it.
all due
As
respect to my
frustrated-
brother.
As unfortunate as it is, I would take that. However, if I mean you're talking about stock, I would put about $10 of stock into that. Because the things that would have to happen, you would first have Paul George would have to confirm that he is in fact done with the Clippers, which he really hasn't.
And then
He hasn't
Steve Kerr
committed. He hasn't committed, but he hasn't said he's out. Number two,
Steve Kerr with a heavy heart.
Yeah.
Let go of Chris
yes,
Paul.
exactly. The Warriors. That's another thing. But the Warriors franchise would have to be okay
With a
losing
heavy
Klay.
heart.
Dude. Yeah, and then we would have to re-sign Chris Paul to a $30 million deal, only so that we could include him in a trade. Because otherwise, we wouldn't have any players to send that are worth that would be of that salary. So we'd have to opt into Chris Paul $30 million at age 39, just so we could include him in a trade. And we'd be giving up, of course, multiple picks plus probably Jonathan Kuminga, which a lot of Warriors
Isn't
fans.
Paul George a free agent?
No, he has an option.
So
The
what if he
idea is
opts out?
The idea is that he would. I don't think that because he doesn't want to risk another. He wants to guarantee himself that salary because he's a max player. So it would be a also that because that would make it possible because the Warriors can't sign him as a free agent, but we can swap contracts in a trade to make the money possible. So again, it's a very it's a tenuous situation. It's like a house of cards thing. You're having to assemble to make this happen. The only reason I'm giving it any credence is because people like Woj and people who actually know what they're talking about have said there's talks
Bro, there's
But it
always
doesn't-
talks.
There's always talks.
There's
We know they
always
don't always
talks.
mean anything. So I'm
ESPN predicted that the Warriors would draft Bronny. So it's like again, it's like
Why
or
would we
one of
give
these
Neeson
channels.
credit for remaining steadfast for the last year. I've said LeBron is staying in LA and Bronny's going to LA. It's the most obvious thing in the
Why is
world.
LeBron so obsessed with
And
LA? Come to the
some people
Can you Steph?
are so stuck in fantasy world,
Steph?
fantasy land that they
Steph
can't
throwing up a
accept it.
lob to LeBron James.
Anyways,
That would
that's
be
not
sick.
never gonna happen.
Not
so-
happening. But to come back to the Paul George thing, I'm buying about like $8 to $10
Yeah.
talking. I don't think it's likely. And Dunleavy is clearly a conservative.
Yes.
Conservative in like not political ideology. In
Hates those low tax or hates those high taxes.
exactly.
Doesn't believe in open
Clearly,
borders,
when
doesn't
we
believe in open borders.
in what
It's
the
a
flip?
strong-
Oh,
you know,
you,
it's a-
you got me. What the hell? I was like, what? I was like confused. I was like, what the hell? is
Has
wrong?
strong religious convictions, you know.
He does not like making big moves, at least in the very brief period we've been with him as Warriors faithful. Like clearly, when we needed a big trade in the trade deadline, he didn't do jack. We like every human being was like, we need a trade, we need a trade, we need a trade. And he didn't do anything. Obviously, tough market. You know, we could have gone in Gafford, would have been a really nice pickup.
Would have been. I don't know if it's a difference maker, but
Still a nice pickup.
might have been a difference maker in that playing game. Who knows? I guess we did,
Yeah.
we did lose it by like what 30 points.
Yeah,
Maybe
literally.
Gafford could have like maybe like you know the butterfly effect where like you change one thing, everything else changes?
Yeah,
Gafford,
we win
like,
championship.
Was like really good friends with Klay Thompson, so Klay Thompson was feeling motivated.
Yes.
And then
Maybe we go to the finals of the
He
match.
would have hit 10 out of 10 instead of 0 out of 10. Oh my god, can you imagine?
Yeah, literally, facts. So clearly, he, in the very brief time, albeit he did trade Poole immediately, which is like confusing. What is in his head? No one knows. Poole, he offloaded in
He's-
0.5 seconds.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be an
Does
easy
he know
ass.
what he's doing? That's
The Poole trade I liked. Poole trade clear. I mean, I know
Chris
Chris Paul
He
didn't work out,
He kind of didn't do jack.
but Jordan Poole somehow managed to play worse than he did his last year at the Warriors with the Wizards. So
Because he's
okay, look,
okay, that's like delving into a different
Look,
alley.
all I'm saying is there's no evidence that Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole as a third option is a good player if there's good team chemistry.
No evidence.
Sorry, I don't care.
No evidence that Jordan Poole is worth keeping around. And
I mean, obviously not after Jordan after Draymond socked the crap out of him.
I mean, look, maybe he turns into something at what age? He's already like 26 or whatever.
Oh, he's not Jordan Poole.
Yeah, he
Are
was,
you stupid? He's
he was like a-
23.
oh, he really is. I thought he was a third-year player coming out of college.
25. So I
Yeah.
guess
He's not exactly a young guy anymore, and was literally basically the worst player in the NBA in terms of if you combine
give him some time.
usage and efficiency, he was
Give him
basically the
some
worst player in the NBA
time.
this
Give
year.
him some time.
So I would never trash Dunleavy for getting out of that
Okay,
contract.
but we didn't do much. Like
But again, remember, Chris Paul, we get out of that contract this year. Jordan Poole, we would have been stuck in that extension for 3 years.
Chris Paul. I mean, are we gonna get out of it? Steve Kerr, the way that
I will say, okay,
senile.
wait, let me just make
freaking
something clear.
fart.
Yeah, let me just make something clear. If we opt into Chris Paul's contract and do not immediately trade him, again, that's like federal investigation level bad. Like it's just not gonna happen. No matter how senile Steve, because even if Steve Kerr is really going senile and lets that happen, it's like Dunleavy or just Blake or somebody would step and be like, Steve, you're fired and you can't do that. So that's not
Right.
gonna happen. But
Right,
anyways,
right.
let's talk
So-
about
Just a brief moment. I'm getting a call from the father. I'm gonna send him a message that I'm recording. We gotta let him know priorities. Daniel Abidi is waiting for this episode. We gotta get it out for him. Almost done. There you go. Done with that. Mother, and then father. So we're gonna start with our 52nd pick in the second round. Obviously, Quinton Post. Solid. So 4-year guy at college. Got a degree in sociology. Respect. He has a LinkedIn post. Respect. LinkedIn account. Sorry, not a post. I think just, I guess 2 or 3 words to describe him. I would say immediately off of his highlights. Obviously, I'm not gonna pull a Stephen A. and say, never heard of him, but I like him. I did take some time to look into him. Shout out Thomas. He was like, yo, check out this, check out that. I think he has a great 3-point shot.
it looks pure.
It looks pure. He has
especially
good.
for a big guy. Yeah.
It does. He's a 7-footer. Oh, I guess let's give the basic facts to the fans. He's a 7-footer, 235 pounds. He was in Missouri State for 2
Mississippi
years.
State.
Mississippi State,
And then
apologies.
transferred to Boston College,
And he was at
broke out.
Boston, and he broke out. And 7 foot, 235. He averaged in his last season, he had 43% from three, 51% overall, averaged 31 minutes. So he's a big player. Played all games and started all games.
and averaged 17, 8, and 3. So
1783. So you love to
he
see
does a little bit of passing.
absolutely. And I think based on that, he's a solid rim protector, good 3-point shot, good solid post game. I
And a
don't know
legit
how,
7-footer, by the way, which is for a team like the Warriors, who are always seem to be lacking size, is important. This is one of the first guys we've gone out and gotten since a certain unfortunate decision. Who's a legit
he who
7-footer.
must not be named.
Yeah, who's a legit 7-footer. So hopefully,
Although
I will say this:
TJD.
but he's 6'9".
No, he's not.
He's 6'9".
You're
He
lying.
plays big, which is why I liked him coming out of college. He plays big.
He's an inch taller than LeBron.
Yeah,
He
plays-
looks
just
like he's
everything
7
has to be
foot.
about LeBron.
I mean,
I mean, he's 14 years younger than LeBron. He averaged 12 less points than LeBron
it's
this
the
year.
first thing that came to my mind.
Interesting. Okay.
He's
Yeah.
6'9". That's genuinely you could have. Wow, if
Yeah,
you were
he
a
plays
casual, I would have punched you. I would have like, are you dumb? Trace Jackson
He
is
plays
7
big.
foot.
So
It's our
uh,
first legit 7-footer,
yeah. I
other
mean,
than that bum Sarge.
you know, no, I was talking about Wiseman.
No. Also Sarge.
Okay,
because
okay,
he was a
okay.
7-footer.
I think wasn't he 6'11" or something?
I mean, 7.
Whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Basically,
But again, the
bro.
point is like 7 foot in the NBA kind of means something. It's like a way that people say it like it means something. Like you're big. You're a real true big. I will say this: I was watching his highlights. He's clearly not a spectacular athlete, so he probably doesn't play as big
As, like,
compared to somebody
Trace.
like Trace, who plays during this frame. Which is why I liked him coming out of college. Have I mentioned that before? How I said he should go to the Warriors, and then they actually took him. Wow, what an incredible call! I knew he was going to be good coming out of college. It's almost like I know how to scout in
Alright.
ways.
Self-pleasing for no reason.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyways, I just watching him, like it definitely feels like you're trying to get a Sarge replacement. I know Sarge, especially towards the end of the season, really started to have some struggles on defense that made it almost
Dude,
impossible
he was
to play him.
unplayable.
He was literally unplayable, as in like even Kerr figured it out and refused to play him, which is impressive. So he has I wouldn't say he has a handle, but he clearly can handle the ball for his size. There's some you can find some clips of him online attacking out of closeouts, which is nice because teams like seeing their bigs do that now. Again, is he Jokic? No, but he averaged 3 assists a game, which especially for a college big is actually significantly more than average. And you can see some clips of him making some pretty simple but good passes, accurate passes to open guys.
He's able to pass.
He's able to
He's
pass.
not like Looney, where
He's able and willing. And Looney, who that's one of his big struggles as a player. He sometimes seems to not have that the most accurate passes or the best vision, but we still love him.
obviously homegrown.
And then of course the big thing is the shot. Now, is Quentin Post going to be a starter for the Warriors? No, but he's 24 years old. You're not taking him for his future promise. You're taking him
Yes.
because you want him to be playing minutes this season.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
he is going to be a back of the rotation guy. That's clearly how they envision this to work out. And you probably want him because who can he play next to? He can play next to Kuminga, who's a limited shooter. He can play next to Draymond, who's a limited shooter. He can play next to Wiggins, was all of a sudden a limited shooter too. This is the Warriors.
Clay as well. Might as well.
The Warriors have become a team who needs shooting, and getting a guy who can go down on one end and be a big body and a rim protector theoretically. Again, there's clips of him packing some guys. He doesn't look like Jaren Jackson Jr. out there, but he looks like he knows what he's doing, and he can get himself in the right places and just be there as a rim protector, which is nice. Guy who can go down on one end and do that, and then space the floor, stand in the corner on the other end, and you can rely on him to knock down threes at an accurate clip, and you can rely on him to take them whenever he's open. That's what you want. That's what they're looking for him to provide. I wouldn't expect that much more out of him than that. You never know. Sometimes
He's a role player. Absolutely.
He's a role player. You never know. Sometimes guys develop stuff, but would
Not likely. Absolutely.
not likely.
I think the most
shouldn't
important thing
hold
you noted was that he's 24 years old. So
Yeah.
4 years, 5 years technically in
Yeah.
college. We're not using him for, man, we're going to send him to the G League, give him
No.
time to develop, blah, blah, blah. He's a Trace Jackson Davis type of lad. We want him out of the box. We want him out of the box. Get on the court. Let's see what you could do. I'm excited to see him. He seems like a good fit for us. He really does. I think what would we rate how much it's tough to do a stock into this.
Some people do great.
Grade, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
say grade. Okay, let's not do grade. Let's switch it up.
Which is because that's what people usually do.
Yeah, let's just do a rating like we do.
Don't be sheep. Yeah.
Don't be a sheep. Don't give me that. Bro's about to do another analogy, but it's dumb, freaking. He gave me this dumb analogy of a sheep. Anyways, bro, give it out of 10. No rookie scores. No rookie scores means no whole numbers, no halves.
7.7.
Okay.
It's the best pick that you could probably make in the spot.
I'll say an 8-2. I
Okay.
actually really like it. I like
Okay.
his game.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
And the 7-footer is actually super appealing. We will definitely see it. Like
That's
when
the
he's
other
gonna be
thing.
on the court with our guys, he's gonna look huge.
I have talked about this now for I think like this is the third year I'm talking about this. Okay, I'm getting you throwing me off.
He's getting a little bit rushed.
So somebody just tapped their wrist like you do when you're trying to suggest you need to hurry up.
Someone needs to
I'll
sleep.
take my time if I want to.
Someone needs to sleep.
It's
is
true.
what I
Okay,
mean.
fair. But I've talked about this for a long time. Guys who have a post game in college tend to come to the NBA with the footwork and the ability to leverage their height and weight to finish around the rim. That's something he's going to offer. There's a lot of guys in this class I felt that way about. I'll talk about that more when we do our bigger draft coverage, but I think that's another thing he will provide. He's tall enough, he has the touch that he will also be able to be a finisher around the rim. That's one last thing I wanted to add. And with that, that's about where the Warriors are at right now. And
I think just not to. I mean, I told you. I told you to finish saying what you were saying, not like end the episode.
okay, my bad.
So we
Let's-
have two more players that we like small pickups.
Yes.
Lindy Waters the third from the Thunder. We got him kind of a G leaguer. Nothing crazy. It's interesting why we picked him up. We got him for free, but like indirectly we got him for cash. Basically, that's kind of what we did because we traded the pick, then we bought the pick back with money. So indirectly it was cash, but good 3-point shooter. That's the main kind of TLDR for Lindy Waters. I don't know what use. I don't know what Dunleavy and all these lads saw. Maybe they see something great. 6'6", 210. Oklahoma State went to OKC.
Hometown kid.
Hometown kid. Now he's coming
Not
to the Bay.
anymore.
Not anymore. They sent his ass to
It's
us.
actually kind of tough, dude. It's not like this guy's getting played anyways. Might as well
Yeah,
let him stay in
exactly.
his home. That's tough.
So
Uh,
great 3-point shooter. We'll see that.
Yeah,
Another underrated pickup. An undrafted lad. Thomas could. I'll pass the rock.
oh yeah.
Reese Beekman.
Reese Beekman, this is actually a guy I was doing some amateur scouting before the draft. I was looking at a lot of guys. This is a guy I didn't put him on. I had this big list I made of guys who I really liked in this draft. He was not on that list, but he was a guy who I thought might offer something really late in the draft that could be intriguing to NBA teams. Turns out, sure enough, the Warriors got and get him as an undrafted free agent. What I like about him, he has this physicality and athleticism about him that you don't often see from players taken this late in the draft. When he goes up to attack the rim, guys bounce off of him. When he drives into the paint, guys bounce off of him. And he has a great balance when he's going up to the rim.
Great handle.
He doesn't get taken off of his spots easily, and it makes it. He appears to be, at least on film. I haven't seen any advanced stats on it. He appears to be a very good finisher at the rim.
Hustler.
And
I'm the defensive end.
As every single player from Virginia is. I always love when teams go out and get players from Virginia. Every player from Virginia is a good defensive player. They do you will not get played at Virginia if you are not an above average to great defender. So you know he's going to be. He's at least at the very minimum a tenacious, active defender. Again, he doesn't seem to be the most physically obviously like physically. I don't know what the right word is, but he doesn't jump off the
Physically
page.
dominating.
Yeah, he doesn't jump off the page at you physically. He doesn't have this freakish wingspan, or he's not like super tall for his position. But I know for a fact he will play defense with tenacity, ferocity, all those other cool words that people like to use.
Stephen A. words.
Stephen A. words. And again, I like his offensive package. As we're watching his highlights right now, actually, as we record this, he does have a nice handle. It looks very fluid. There's a lot of clips where he's getting by guys using his handle in first step,
Although I will say, it doesn't
And
seem
then-
like he has a jumper.
attacking down old rim.
Very
He
rarely
is
is he taking a
a
jumper.
limited shooter. That is another thing that you have to mention. Guards who are limited shooters struggle in the modern NBA. But when you're talking about undrafted guys, you have to take what you can get. I think he does have a really unique skill set for a guy taken this late. You see a lot of guys who go undrafted who are these short guards who put up like 25 points a game at some small school, who are good shooters and have handles but don't have the athleticism and size to make it in the NBA. That's not who this guy is. This guy looks the part of an NBA guard. So that's why I like this pick. And also one last thing you got to mention: average 6 assists. Now, for you guys who don't follow college basketball, when you see college stats, you got to add about 25% to whatever it is. 6 assists in college is like 8.5 assists in the NBA. that is a good pass. I think if you were to look at a list of the leaders in assists in college this year, he would probably be somewhere in the top 15. So clearly a talented passer. Again, from the highlights I saw, it was mostly lob passes, basic pick and roll stuff, which is mostly what they do in college. You're not seeing Luke out there on the court every night. But again, is there something there? Maybe he gives me a lot more optimism than Lindy Waters, which I just feel like is a G League filler guy. But yeah, I mean, we'll see.
We will see.
Uh,
I think then that's where the Warriors are really at. I think you're definitely right. I'm super excited about Quinton Post. I like the 7-footer. That's made me more excited now. I didn't realize that I didn't know Trace was 6'9", but I think that really kind of recaps everything. We're gonna get back to being consistent again. We just took like a 1-week hiatus. We apologize to the loyal fans. We know they're dying for our content.
absolutely.
So we I mean, I'm traveling to an undisclosed location for a wedding, but we will record while I'm there. That's my word to you guys, to Daniel. That's my word to you guys. All right.